I was a facilitator recently at an event that had a bunch of executives. It was a leadership event. And this young CEO comes walking up to me, and he says, "Hey, Duane, can I ask you a question?" And I wanted to mess with him, so I said, "Well, you just did. Would you like to go for two?" And he kind of sat there and fumbled with himself for a second, and he said, "Yeah, so fine. Can I ask you a second question?" And I thought, man, this is one of our leaders, and he has not learned the value of if you want a better answer, you got to ask a better question, or you're going to end up with a name like McLovin. Now, that kind of troubled me, and I think about it a lot. And I know that researchers tell us that 80% of the questions that we ask, we actually ask in our own mind. We don't get the chance to ask them out loud like he did. And if we're asking poor or disempowering questions like that CEO, that means we're going to be filling our mind constantly with horrible answers. And our mind is where everything is stored, and that's where we're going to get that information later on, whether it's the experiences we've had or the education we grew up with. But we need to fill it with good stuff. And so you're filling it constantly with these disempowering things. I'll give you an example. So if you were to ask yourself, what is wrong with me? Wow. You're going to get a bunch of horrible answers because your brain is just going to go on auto and it's going to say, this is what's wrong with you, this is what's wrong with you, this is what's wrong with you. You're not giving yourself a chance. And so my topic tonight, if you flip that around and you said, I'll ask a better question, what's right with me? That same exact brain is going to give you a whole new set of answers. It's incredible. And it's going to give you a chance. It's going to give you an empowering chance. Now, empowering questions have changed the world. I mean, we now know that it's not flat, it's round. Those of you that have smartphones, you can tweet and text and call people all around the globe whenever you want. And I personally found out that Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are twice as good when you put them in the freezer after an hour. Trust me. Yeah, and I've also been taught by the internet on how to ask questions, because if you don't put those frickin' right keywords in that box, you don't get awesome images like this to put in your presentation. You just get hosed, and you get bad stuff. And that's something that we do as a habit, is we ask these same questions over and over again, these disempowering questions, getting poor answers, and we don't know what's going on. And I mean, you know these questions. They're the ones that you ask, like, who used all the toilet paper, or who put the pitcher back in the refrigerator with nothing in it? And you got to get away from those. You need to ask tough questions. Ask the questions everybody's afraid to ask. That's where you're going to get those great answers. And most of us just don't ask enough tough questions. So we're going to kind of do it as an exercise. So when you see that image, you think of cancer. What if we said, what if in the next 30 days I asked everything I could of myself and contributed to the possibility of curing cancer? You might get some crazy answers. You might not even know what they are. But when people see this image, they see homelessness, you're out in the street, and you think, why don't they get a job? Well, what if we ask, if that was my family member or one of my children, would I think of homelessness differently? We would. And this one's going to scare most people. It's terrorism. But if we said, what's one question that has never been asked in our history, but if it was asked, it would eliminate terrorism? Pretty powerful stuff. So asking the better question will give you a better answer. Trust me, it happens all the time. And I know you're sitting there right now, each and every one of you going, well, that's heady stuff, that's big stuff. Can I really ask a better question and change the world? And I'm here to tell you, you can. There are examples. We're facing a crisis that you heard about earlier with the soil speech. The global water supply is horrible. Drinkable water is killing over 5,000 kids a day. I don't know if you know that statistic on our planet. 1 billion people are affected by this. And yet one of your fellow Oklahomans, Richard Greenlee, and his wife Terry started water4.org. After they asked themselves a better question, they said, how can we make an impact on this topic? And now they've helped over 1 million people get drinkable or potable water, clean water. So that one better question has made a huge difference in the world. Now, we saw Albert Einstein earlier, and he had this incredible quote. I'm going to paraphrase. He said, if I had 1 hour and I had a question that I had to solve that my life depended on, I would spend the first 55 minutes thinking about the questions. That's how important they are. And tonight you've heard from 12 other speakers. And what they've tried to do is share something with you that would ignite something in you and eliminate that shadow that's been drugged behind you, change you in just a little way. And what I've shared with you is, if you'll ask a better question, you'll get a better answer. And the only thing that I have left in my mind to ask myself is,